welcome to another edition of Zombie Beach. Finally, after almost 2 years of being dead and then brought back to life. My name is Dan Ledbetter, and with me, as always, my good friend and cohort in crime, Jerry Davis.
I was going to do the traditional zombie grunt, but I couldn't pull it off.
It's too early in the morning for that. Like, seriously. For those of you who don't know, we've been up, both of us respectively, woke up. Now, this is where it gets weird. You know you're good friends when you start having the same insomnia cycles.
Yeah, for no reason.
Jerry woke up at 2 o'clock Chicago time, and I woke up at 2 o'clock California time. So
No, I woke up at 4 o'clock, 4 a.m.
Oh, did you?
Which was your 2 a.m.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we woke up at the same time.
At the same time. So, all right. So we've both been awake for
long
God
time.
Knows how many hours now.
Been awake long time.
Long time. Well, first of all, Jerry, it is so good to be back with you talking about
this is
zombies.
The second time we've resurrected this thing.
Well, much like the undead, you can't keep a good corpse down. And it's great that this is happening, though, because I think it gives us a chance to sort of reboot, recalibrate, and do that. And I have to say right off the bat, thanks to all of our listeners
who keep listening.
Who keep listening, even though we hadn't done anything in 2 years. I don't know whether you guys went back and just downloaded all the podcasts and listened to them, or...
I don't know.
For God's sakes, get a hobby, people. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm wondering if the original listeners are all gone, and these are all the new ones. But our traffic... This is one of the reasons that Dan and I decided, we he and I both are content creators for the web, and our playing around with podcasts have actually led to daytime professional podcasting, which takes up a lot of our actual time, which is why these fun ones kind of fade. But
yes. I hate it when my day job gets in the way of my life.
We've been watching the numbers, and the listenership has never dipped. It's actually gone up and up and up, and it's all just back issues. So we have a lot of new listeners out there, and thank you for listening. You're exactly. Awesome.
And hanging in with us while we were gone on vacation.
Since the end of the world.
Man, would it be? Yeah, that is right. And the world did not end. The zombie apocalypse didn't happen. Damn it!
But, or it did, and we didn't notice.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I see a lot of people walking around staring at their cell phones, so that could be the apocalypse.
There you go. It's
what I'm thinking.
And we've actually gone through another apocalypse. So the Ragnarok has passed as well a couple of weeks ago. So
yes, wasn't that a TV show with Muppets? Well, that's Fraggle Rock. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe Ragnarok. Actually, my daughter was telling me Ragnarok is a character in something. I think it was the How You Train Your Dragon or something like that.
Oh, well, there you go. That'd be a good name. It also would be a good name for a Swedish death metal band.
It probably is.
It probably already is for all.
But I don't know if that's a great name. That'd be like in this culture calling someone, hey, let's call this kid's cartoon character Armageddon. Yeah, that's a good name for a kid.
Yes. It's got, that's so funny. Here once again, here's where my mind goes. It's kind of like when you see people that get tattoos of just random Chinese words on their arm.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder, like, if you go to China or Japan and, like, somebody has the word lake in English on their arm?
No. Or popsicle.
Popsicle, yeah, exactly. Or Dove Bar. I don't know.
Really?
Like, well, that's exciting.
Craft.
Well, let me tell you this, Jerry. So much has gone on in the last 2 years since we got together again in the world of zombies. Because, honestly, I really would have thought that the whole zombie thing would have died, no pun intended, died down a little bit, but that is just
receded.
The opposite. Yeah, receded, if you will, much like my hairline. But it's really taken off and grown. In fact, since the last time we talked, I don't even know if you're aware, but there have been 3, in addition to The Walking Dead, to the best of my knowledge anyway, 3 new zombie-related mainstream TV shows.
Wow. It's just amazing.
Well, let me tell you, the one that I watched first was this British show called In the Flesh,
Uh-huh.
which freaking brilliant show. I mean, I love the concept. Basically, I'll give you the thumbnail. Zombie apocalypse happens. The government comes up with a cure, not to turn them back into humans, but to adapt them to society to where they're sociably acceptable. And then it's really more about
It sounds like Fido.
well, no, because they're still kind of they're crazy and they have a hard time interacting. These are like, imagine somebody who was a crazed serial killer, like a total psychopath. Well, most of them actually act like humans anyway. But like, imagine a zombie that actually comes back to life and can interact with you and hang out, have a beer and chat and just hang out. You know what I mean? And that's what the premise is. And the undertone is more about prejudice and stereotypes, and it is a brilliant show. If you get BBC Three, I highly recommend that you watch this. I've been downloading the episodes last year. They only did 3, which is so odd because
I know. They did that with Sherlock. They do them
they do three episodes, and that's a season.
Yep.
For a pilot anyway, and now they're doing 6, so they're coming out with 6 this year. So keep that on your calendar. Now, I don't know if you watched the other one, the French one called The Returned.
No.
That one's a little more heady. That one's a little more like a, very, man, I don't even know who to equate it to. I was going to say kind of Kubrick-esque.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of Kubrick-esque, kind of with a touch of Fellini. Just this very subtle dead coming back to life vibe.
Uh-huh.
Like these people died in a bus accident, and then a couple years later, they just start randomly showing up in the town, and like,
oh, wow.
Little girl goes home, hi mom, and they're like sitting there like, what the hell? So it's
wow.
It's like how they integrate back, and then there's like this big master plan. I don't want to spoil it because you really do need to download and see them, and it's subtitled, so
oh yeah,
prepare yourself to actually watch and read the show.
We do that a lot anyway.
Do you really? Oh, good for you.
Anime.
See, my wife works while she watches TV, and then since they're talking in French and the subtitles there, she'll constantly ask me, what was that? What did they just say? So it's like I get to be the interpreter. Yeah, but highly, highly recommend that. And apparently it got picked back up for a 2nd season, so that's a good thing. And the final one is Resurrection, which is on mainstream, like, the regular channels here. So zombies are a big thing still, man.
I have fallen off the zombie wagon. As many people who listen should remember, I'm more sci-fi.
Yes.
And Dan is horror. So that's our dichotomy. So I mean, I've been going through. I mean, like, my big thing was that they had released another Red Dwarf. Which they only released like 6 episodes, and that's the season, and that's all you're going to get. And they're making another one 2 years later, and we watch. My younger my younger daughter who lives with me, Jessie, should actually be on this program because she's a zombie horror watching fanatic.
Oh,
every day.
Well, she should be a guest star.
She should. She's kind of interested in doing it. We might think about that.
Well, throw the invitation out there.
So, but she also watches, and since she's watching it and it's on our one TV, I end up watching it. All these YouTube programs. And have you heard about Let's Play programs?
No, what is that?
They're the biggest thing on YouTube. There's been some controversy about it, but these guys and gals play a video game and then basically podcast over the top of it as they're playing. And they banter back and forth just like you and I do, but they're playing a game.
Interesting.
And then commenting on the game. And then there's some the two big ones, the ones that I really know about, they're called the Game Grumps. They're really funny.
How funny. I've never heard of them.
And then there's another branch of the guys who actually play the game, and it's solo. And they make the game into a movie. they actually read out all the things that are being, all the dialogue that's printed out. They read it dramatically.
Right.
And they make choices and they play it through. And there's one, he goes by the handle Cry, and he keeps his actual identity completely anonymous on YouTube.
Oh. He's kind of like Banksy.
Yeah.
All right.
So he plays these horror games through, and they become a movie that he's not wisecrack. Well, he does wisecrack, but it becomes a consumption experience, and he loves playing the Walking Dead video games.
Oh,
which are like, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but
actually, I'm playing the first one. I'm going to download the second one.
Yeah. So you've seen them. They're like the comic books come to life.
Right.
They're in the style of the comic book. So I've experienced them like a movie, and I know the characters in there and everything, and so that's how I've been getting my Walking Dead.
Oh,
so I haven't watched it since before we stopped podcasting.
Oh my gosh!
So
dude.
I don't. I mean, I last thing I
don't
saw.
know if we can be friends anymore. That's like serious.
The very last scene I saw on Walking Dead was what's her name? Michonne. Michonne.
Microne. That sounds like something out of a heavy metal movie.
Okay. Let me re-say this then.
Microne.
How you say it again? How you say it again?
I think we should
Michonne?
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a sci-fi version of The Walking Dead. And she's going to be like part android, and we're going to call her Microne.
Microne.
I like that.
How do you say it again?
Michonne.
Michonne. Yeah. Okay, the very last scene I saw was her walking up to save what's her name with her two pet zombies, and that's it.
Oh my!
That's the last Walking Dead I've seen.
Dude.
Other than that, I've been watching Supernatural.
I haven't seen that at all.
Which Supernatural, it plays. If you're into any kind of like religious stuff, it's really interesting.
Oh, okay. I'm down with that.
You might be upset with it.
No, it takes a lot to upset me. I mean, I have a pretty open mind when it comes to dramatic interpretations of stuff, so no, that doesn't upset me at all.
Well, in Supernatural, angels are dicks. And that's one of the main characters. That's Dean. That's just like angels are dicks.
So it's kind of like
a bag of dicks.
It's kind of like the reverse of Touched by an Angel, where they're all really nice and happy, and
no,
the Angel of Death wears a members only jacket, and
it's
horrible.
No, the demons are not good either, obviously, but the angels have their own agenda, and God is missing, and they're battling in heaven, and they're battling on earth, and they're battling with the demons, and there's good angels, and then there's bad angels, and there's bad demons and not quite so bad demons. And I just love it. I just love the mythology. It sounds just like
real life.
Yeah.
How funny.
Anyway, so
I'll have to check that out.
I'm a huge Supernatural fan.
Yeah. Well, there's what else is there? There was another show that I got into, and it was on for a short period of time, and I can't remember the name. It must have been that memorable. So,
okay.
Well, you really need to. I mean, I'm not going to force you to, but you really should watch the next. At least try to get one more season of The Walking Dead down, because this next season, after where you stopped, is so good. And I mean, actually, this would be the third season that you're missing out on, because so much happens, and it's a whole new level. It's a whole new level.
Well, I remember how intense they were, and my friend, I watch TV to relax.
Oh,
and I'd be watching Walking Dead, and I'd walk away with, post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah, yep, I hear you.
It's not why I'm watching TV. I want to enjoy myself.
That's so funny, and that's why I think we're friends, is because, like, I can watch that and go, oh, wow, look at that, they almost got eaten by zombies, and they slaughtered 500,000 corpses, and I can go to bed now.
Oh my God. I get so keyed up. I have nightmares. I'm like, that's why I like things like Red Dwarf that are like fun and silly. They got some smart stuff in there to make you think, but it's not serious.
Well, now on the science fiction thing, well, it's not really science fiction because I guess it could happen. Did you see Gravity?
I haven't seen Gravity yet.
Dude, talk about I was stressed out for 3 days after watching that.
Oh, I bet.
It was that is one of the most intense hour and a half joyrides I've ever been on. It's like one of those things where just when you think it can't get worse, it gets worse.
Oh yeah.
And when you think it can't get any worse than getting worse from when it was worse, it gets even worser. So yeah, it's brilliant. It's a good.
It's on my to-do list. It's on my to-watch
good
list.
for you.
As soon as it comes out on Netflix. The only thing I'd really wanted to go to the theater and actually pay money to see was the Lego Movie, and I didn't make it.
You know what?
Is it already gone?
I was sitting there thinking, I'll wait till that goes on pay-per-view, but I actually had a bunch of friends go see it, and they said it's actually enjoyable.
I've heard so many people say that it's just off the hook funny.
Yeah, so I'm pretty down with going and seeing it. I think that would be that'd be
You know,
fun.
it falls into that. It falls into the Simpsons and South Park genre.
Right.
Where you could do and say anything if it's a ridiculous cartoon. You have like this license to go way beyond the envelope.
Right.
And do a parody of something. Well, I guess you could put Family Guy in that, but I've never been a huge Family Guy fan for some reason. They're just...
I've watched them and they've been fun, and I mean I love their references because they're so fast. It's
I know.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And
but there's Family Guy gets a little, I don't know. It's not that I'm against. I don't even know what the term would be. It's they push things in a direction I'm uncomfortable with. I'll put it that way.
Oh wow!
I mean, I like biting social comment and commentary, but I don't. I don't really mind crudeness, but things like in Family Guy where the whole family just treats the daughter like dirt, and I don't know, that's not funny to me because it's too real, which is probably the reason they do it that way. But I mean, I've seen that in real life. Maybe that's why it bothers me.
Yeah, it could be. Now, speaking of disturbing shows and films and such, so many things have come out since the last time we podcasted. Did you ever get a chance to see The Purge?
No. What was that?
Dude, the premise is so amazing. Basically, set in the future, and what they call the founding fathers came up with this new way to curb crime and give people a release. They call it the Purge. So one night a year for, what is it, from 6 in the evening till 6 in the morning, like all crime, including murder, is legal.
Oh, that's kind of like what they actually used to do.
Where did they do this? I never got the memo.
Well, I don't know if they actually... No, I think they did. It wasn't legal, but it was called... What was it called? Devil's Night?
I don't know.
What was it? It was basically Halloween.
But with guns and knives?
But people would go out and it would just go and say it would be anarchy. And people would just expect it. It was documented in this old black and white movie.
Huh. I'll have to look that up. But maybe that's where they got the idea for this.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But it is incredibly creepy and is such an interesting premise. Because it's like, it's kind of centers around this guy that sells home lockdown systems.
I can imagine.
Which is brilliant. I mean, just to start out with, it was so brilliant how he, he sells to all his neighbors. I don't want to get in the story because you really do need to see it. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you have a list of people you would go out and kill?
That's kind of what they're talking about. And it's like, it's so bizarre. And it's like, I'm going, wow, it's like, that would be just the creepiest thing if that ever like came about. Could you imagine, like, it's like, oh yeah, once a year we go out and kill people. Everything's legal.
Wow.
Rob, loot, whatever you need to do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there've been so
great
many
stimulus package.
Well, yeah, right. And that's like they said, hey, crime is down to like 0.002%. And joblessness is with the highest it's been, and all this. So it was a good premise, but very creepy. You really do need to see it. And there've been so many great horror films that have come out since we last casted.
Uh-huh. Last horror film I saw was The House, or was it The Cabin? The Cabin.
Oh, yeah,
Cabin in the Woods.
Well, yeah.
We talked about that.
We talked about that. So that's all I have to say about The Cabin in the Woods.
I've been rewatching things. I've been like going back and watching I decided I wanted to see all the Star Treks, but I want to see them in chronological order of when they were supposed to have happened, not when they were aired.
Oh,
and so I went back and I've been, because I didn't like Starship or Star Trek Enterprise when it first came out. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes and went, this isn't for me. And so I'd never seen them. And so I forced myself to go back and actually start watching those. Yeah. And by about episode 5 or 6, I had not given it a chance. It started getting pretty good, and now I'm fully in and liking the characters and everything, and liking. So I'm somewhere in the 2nd season, and there's 4 seasons, and I'm really, actually very happy that I hadn't seen them before, because I get to watch brand new Star Trek.
Oh,
that I've never seen. So I'm like, this is a treat. What happened is my younger daughter went out to visit family over the holidays, and so I was by myself for like 3 weeks with no YouTube on the TV when I come home, and I'm like, it's very quiet. I'm like, well, maybe I'll watch something for myself, and that's what I started to do, and so I'm hooked. And there's also a lot of Deep Space Nine I've never seen, and there's a lot of practically all of Voyager I've never seen. So there's a lot of Star Trek I get to see now.
Oh, and that's cool. It's almost like getting to see it.
Well, to me, it's brand new. I'm like,
it's brand new, right?
Oh, wow, Star Trek, cool. And all my work friends, actually, all my friends are work friends pretty much nowadays. They're all deep and heavily into Game of Thrones. I've never seen it.
Dude,
I want to see it.
You are missing out.
No, I want to see it. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to wait till it's done, and then I'll watch it.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Ann and I do that a lot. We'll like peruse Netflix to find a show or whatever that we've heard about but never seen, and then we'll just do a marathon and watch the entire series.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm planning.
Good for you. That's smart. I think that's very smart.
But I saw the South Park take on it, which was funny.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. You know what? That's sad. It's like I really have, as much as I love South Park, I haven't kept up with it as much as I've kept up on all the zombies.
I haven't either. And Jessie, my daughter, started watching it again, and so I sat down and I was watching. There's a lot of it I haven't seen, and it's so consistently brilliant.
Yes.
And apparently their take on Game of Thrones, they used to launch their latest video game. And so the newest South Park video game, and when you're playing it, it's like you're in South Park and you're part of the show and the characters, but the kids are pretending to be like the Game of Thrones characters.
Oh, that's funny.
And Kenny is the princess with the blonde hair. and they're constantly making jokes. Why does Kenny want to be a girl? Apparently Kenny wants to be a girl.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And so in the show, Kenny goes in the show it's about I don't know even, you know how they cross things up?
Right.
So they crossed Game of Thrones up with Black Friday sales.
Oh, that is hilarious.
And then pitted Sony against Microsoft
right.
in Xbox versus PS4s. And it was like this, it was a 3-episode arc.
That is way too funny.
And there's this one segment where the head of Sony makes Kenny an official Japanese princess, and then the whole thing turns into anime.
See, I need to get caught up. I really need to get caught up.
And there's a lot of inside anime jokes, too, if you're watching anyway. So we've really wandered away from zombies, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, but that's all right because there's plenty more to do. In fact, I think we're kind of
we are actually
coming near the end. See, time flies when you're talking about zombies.
I had started my timer and it stopped. Did we go through all the things you wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about Slenderman? Have you ever heard of Slenderman?
I've played the game a little bit. It's. I mean, I still don't understand it, but
Slenderman is a open source horror story.
Oh, I didn't know it was open source.
Well, I mean, effectively, it was created by the internet.
Wow.
I think there's a single source of it, but it was like released, and it's a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
And anybody who wants to can make a Slenderman horror movie, and they put it on the YouTubes, and you have a guaranteed audience. And I've actually thought about making a Slenderman horror movie.
I think we need to.
It'd be awesome.
See, I want to make one, but well, with my body style, it'd be not so Slenderman.
You'd have to hire somebody. But same here. But Slenderman became so popular apparently that Supernatural did a take on it.
Oh,
like they called him Thin Man.
Yes, of course. You can't.
But it was very obvious what they were doing.
Right.
That's one thing that I really like about Supernatural is they're so close to their fan base, and it's such an interaction that if the fans all do something, they'll put it in the show. You know,
see, that's pretty cool.
There's a feedback loop going on.
You know, I'm going to have to watch that, I think.
Well, if you ever start watching it, you have to give the first you gotta realize that the first season and a half, it was a very different program, and it was like eye candy for girls, basically.
Oh. So it's kind of got that Twilight vibe.
Yeah, kind of, because there. I mean, it does set up the themes for the rest of but it evolves quite a bit. So you have to kind of give it a pass on a lot of things at first, because when I first started watching it, I walked away from it. But my daughter kept watching it, and that pulled me back in. And I'm like, oh, okay, kind of like Star Trek. You have to give it a chance.
Right.
And so, like in the first season, everybody is absolutely beautiful and not realistic.
Right.
And and it has a very teen vibe to it. And then later on, it gets very serious, and it gets very dramatic, and there are some really heavy issues that go on.
So it's kind of like going to a bar and then waking up the next morning.
I guess so.
Like after 4 or 5 drinks, everybody's your buddy. You love them. Everything's beautiful. And next morning, it's like, oh my God, what did I do?
You wake up in hell.
Yes. Well, I will check that out.
Anyway, so that's what we have for you. I hope this was a good comeback episode. It was not as spectacular as I'd hoped it'd be, but
well, you know, it's like
it never was. Never was.
It's like going to a bar and then waking up the next morning. So we're just waking up, people. So please bear with us and come back again.
Yeah, we're waking up from our 1.5-year hangover from the end of the world party we had.
Let us get a few fresh brains in us, and we'll be good to go.
Brains. Oh, have you done any zombie runs lately?
No, not since the one. I've just, it's just time is a premium. That's
true.
That sounded like I was almost serious right there, but it is. Time is at a premium.
Time is
not on my side.
Yeah. And things are getting serious.
I know, really. Let's cut this cord before we start sitting there going, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember back when I was young and had hair.
Yeah. So
So there you go, folks. So stick with us, and we swear we'll start off slow, but once again we'll taper off.
which is exactly what we did.
Exactly.
Do you have any, I know we're trying to end, but do you have anything that you would like everybody to watch so we could all talk about it on the next one?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Can you pick one thing?
can I pick one thing? Man, it's so hard to pick one thing.
Oh, okay. Well, tell you what, post it on our Facebook page.
There you go.
We'll go from there.
And for those of you that don't know, Jerry, give them our Facebook address.
Well, the easiest thing to do is to go to zombiebeachpodcast.com.
Oh,
And then click-
I forgot we even had a webpage.
Because I don't know what our Facebook but there's a link there,
Yes.
and we have a good little following going on our Facebook page. As it turns out, I think we have a Google Plus page. I'm not sure.
Do we?
I think so.
Wow. How
It's
sad
been
is that?
so
I forget
long.
we have a webpage. You forget we have a Google Plus page.
You know, forgive me for talking about search engine marketing.
Welcome to It Came from the Living Horror of Alzheimer's Beach.
Yes. You need a Google Plus page if you really want to show up.
You know, I have one, but I hardly ever use it.
Well,
It's
I mean,
kind of like,
if you're a business,
Oh.
and you want to start showing up on Google, you need a Google Plus page.
Oh.
And so, and I guess if you're a podcast and you want to show up, you need a
Gotta have
Google,
Plus page.
But the problem is, so you get a Google Plus page, nobody goes there.
No.
It's all happening on Facebook. But if you want to show up, you have to have the Google Plus page. So
Right.
we have Google Plus.
Someone should make a program that, like, whenever you update Facebook, it automatically does Google Plus.
Actually, there is. I
Is
thought
there?
you were using it. Don't you use Buffer? You use Buffer.
Yeah.
Doesn't it do Google Plus?
I don't know. I don't think it does.
I use something called Hootsuite, which is
I think that's the cereal I have in the morning.
hello,
Sugar-coated Hootsuite
welcome to zombies and internet
cereal.
social media. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe our listeners would be interested in this. If you do a lot of social media, you could get a free Hootsuite. We pay for it, but I pay for it through my company. But the free one will work for you personally.
Oh.
Get Hootsuite. You could sign up all your stuff to it. You do all your social media from one place. It'll meter it out, just like Buffer does.
Yes.
So you don't overwhelm someone's stream, which is really important if you're doing like Tumblr or Twitter. You overload someone's stream, they're going to stop following you.
Right.
But it will also do Google Plus. So when I'm like for my day job, if I'm doing stuff on Twitter, I'll also do one for Facebook and I'll do one for Google Plus. And it'll sometimes you have to tweak them to fit, but you do it in one place and then you say go, and then it just releases it automatically in a timely fashion.
Wow.
So this is my tip to you: sign up for Hootsuite. It's better than Buffer.
I will.
I started with Buffer and I moved on. And may zombies never eat your brains. Thank you. Goodbye.
That was a good ending. I like that.
May zombies never ever darken your door.
Yes.
And if
The
they
odds
do,
forever be in your favor.
gosh,
We're going to get all Hunger Games.
there's more and more. You remember we were talking about the ants that get the zombie stuff, right? And so they did a video game based on that stuff, and we were talking about that.
Really?
We talked about it in an early episode about what if this spore mutated and it would take over people too,
Right,
just like it
right,
does
right, right.
ants. And so they did a video game where that's the premise. There's zombies, and it's all from a mold spore that did it. And now that they've done that and they do more research, they're finding that it's happening to birds,
Really?
which is fuck way up on the food chain.
Yeah,
We're not
dude.
too far from birds.
Yeah. So
There may be a zombie apocalypse.
I'm telling you,
But the-
people laugh at me when I say it's going to come down, but it's going to come down.
Well, the difference, though, is that these zombies don't attack and eat people. Well, I mean, birds.
yet, anyway.
The birds. What happens is they become zombified, and then they go to a place that's good for the mold to grow. And they just stay there. And if one bites you, you don't get it. But if you're near them and you breathe in the mold, that's even scarier.
Right.
Because you don't have to be attacked by a zombie. You could just breathe the freaking mold spores in.
Exactly. This is what I'm telling you, man.
So there could be a zombie apocalypse. It would be very different than the ones that we've been fictionalizing.
Yes.
And once again, I've dragged the ending out. Sorry.
As is our way, my friend. As is our way. So join us next time, which we still may be here talking this time.
Yeah, so, zombiebeatspodcast.com. And please, if you're listening to us via iTunes, which apparently a lot of you do,
Yes.
could you go give us a good review?
Yeah,
please?
do something, will you please?
Or if you don't like us, go tell us we suck. It's okay.
Yeah, just leave some sort of comment.
Yeah. So, anyway, thank you, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
On Zombie Beach.
Bum, bum, bum.
.com.